All right, and welcome back to the Three Pillars podcast with myself, David, and Waliid from the team of Kaizen Method, where we like to try and help inspire and motivate people to actually achieve the greatest level of success in their life through three pillars, which are mindset, fitness, and finance, where we find that a lot of people have a bit of struggles in their life in those areas, and we've overcome those ourselves, and we want to try and help inspire and help people actually overcome them themselves to actually achieve their greatest results. In today's podcast episode, we're actually going to be talking to you about what we find people have the biggest struggle with in the gym and actually achieving their ideal physique, because it is quite common for a lot of people and it is something which can be overcome reasonably easily. So, Waliid, you've probably got the most experience in the gym out of the two of us. What do you find people have the most struggle or most trouble with in the actual gym in actually achieving their their fitness goals?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to the gym, with a lot of people that I work with, even let's say base it back to my experience and what I've done in the past, the more you overcomplicate things, the harder it is to sustain it long term.
Yep.
And when it comes to building a physique or getting your health in order and all those things, it has to be a long-term. You got a short-term goals which you can actually achieve,
Yeah.
but your long-term sustainable goal is what you'll get the most results from.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so going back to the basics is going to be extremely crucial, right? So when a lot of people get started out, they spend too much money, for example, buying supplements they don't need,
Yeah.
extremely expensive, complicated programs they don't need, and also they allow, let's say, doing way too much, they allow way too much time training in the gym instead of like just minimizing to doing just what they need sustainably for a long time.
So what do you find the actual basics are? What would you consider the basics of?
Yeah, so let's say you want to achieve goals and let's say you want to lose fat, right?
Yep.
Finding out what your calories are, what you need to, let's say going back to exactly knowing you need to be in a calorie deficit to actually achieve your goal. Hit your calories every single day, and when you hit your calorie, oh my gosh.
When you hit your calorie intake for the day.
When you hit your calorie intake, we'll reboot that. Yeah. So when you hit your calorie intake for the day, right?
Yeah.
So when you know what your calories are, so a lot of people say, oh, you don't need to calorie count. That's absolutely bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So you need to know what your calories are, and then what you consume on your calories is you need to make sure that you're eating whole foods.
Yeah.
Right. So for example, if you have 2,000 calories and you eat a block of chocolate and a few donuts during the day, you're going to consume most of your calories that you need. So when I say whole foods, eat foods that have high in protein, okay, bit of carbs. So don't cut your carbs out. Just make sure foods that can keep you fuller for longer.
Yeah, so you got to still kind of take into consideration some kind of macro count as well.
Exactly.
To actually kind of hit that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when it goes back to the gym, like you don't need to be killing yourself and hours doing cardio. I would say add in strength training to your program.
Yep.
Okay, so you got your calories in, you know what you're consuming, you're in a calorie deficit, and then as you go into training, add in some strength training.
Yep.
Okay, keep that as basic as you can. So there's a lot of gyms with a lot of fancy machines, etc. Go back to the basics of actually training with bars and dumbbells. If you can actually learn how to use those equipments, the machines will be extremely easy for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Just going back to the calorie deficit and stuff like that, for people who don't know, what is a calorie deficit and how do you know if you're actually in one, or what should you do to actually get into one?
okay, so calorie deficit is consuming less than what your body daily intake is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's say your maintenance calories is 2,000,
Yeah.
and you eat 1,800 calories a day. That's your calorie deficit.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you're already burning under what you're supposed to. You're gonna drop your weight. But as your weight drops, your calorie deficit number changes.
So it has to decrease in line with it.
That's right. But then that's when you actually can increase the intensity of your training.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to starve yourself to the point where you're actually eating absolute nothing and you're in extreme starvation mode and your calorie deficit extremely low.
Yeah.
You want to be just under as your body weight drops. You drop it slightly under, and then you increase the intensity of your training. This is why it's important to keep a log of your training as well.
Yeah.
So then you actually know you're progressively adding up weight or growing or gaining strength.
So it's never a static kind of figure of what you actually should be in a deficit. It's always going to be under what you need at that time. So you could be like, say for myself, I'm currently sitting at 90 kilos. If I want to start cutting back and actually start losing body fat, I need to have a calorie deficit in line with where my daily requirements is.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So you keep track of that. That can be reviewed every week, right?
Yeah, okay.
So you review that every week. So as your weight drops, but then sometimes like you don't want to if you're doing strength training and you're dropping in a deficit. This is why it's important to do some measurements and also photos, because if you gauge it only off the numbers in the scale, it's going to scare you sometimes, because you might add muscle, you might retain water weight. Also for women, they have, that time of the month, they retain a lot of fluids and stuff.
Yeah.
So don't want to base it off just the numbers on the scale. You want to base it off also the photos that you might have, and define them, let's say week 1 and week 3, and look at them like, oh, look at that, my waist is slightly slimmer here, my shoulders are slightly wider, or I'm not dropping fat around this area. But there is no way to target fat in a certain part of the body. For example, like a lot of people will say, oh, I want to lose fat around my arms, let's say.
You can't spot lose it.
You can't target those areas. So what you can do though is you can be on a deficit, and you can be dropping weight as you get leaner. Your body will just shred fat everywhere. Yeah. Right?
Because I know with myself last year when I was training, and this is like where I saw my biggest change. It's like when I actually did start calorie counting, actually keep an eye on my macros.
Yeah.
And like you said, like don't rely just on the scales, because it doesn't necessarily lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a complete picture, because I know I actually stayed the exact same weight, but I lost 5 kilos of body fat, but gained 5 kilos of muscle mass, and that's just
but you look so much better.
Oh,
yeah.
Incomparable.
I agree. Yeah, like for me, like I have a routine. So every you can do it Saturday or whatever, but with my routine, it works for me. I do it every Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. First thing in the morning when I wake up, before I eat, before I drink, before I do anything, I take my photos. I do front, back, side. Okay, and I have an album for that. I upload them straight onto there. I take my weight. I record that on a note, and then I've got a measure tape, and I just literally measure my waist, measure my arms, measure around my chest.
Keep an eye on it.
Okay, so it's just areas that I want to work on most. So I go mid across the quad, and then I go right across the chest, and then I do my arms. Simple as that.
Cool.
And that just gives me perspective when I look back at my month. I can look at my photos and say, okay, I'm progressing here. It looks really good.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see progress.
100%. And you might look at areas of your body where you think, oh, I don't like how my back is shaped, or my legs, or there's not much progress here. Then double up on that in a week, right? So if you don't have strong legs, or you want bigger legs, then do legs twice a week, and make sure your sessions are intentional sessions, right? So don't go to the gym and go through the motion. So a lot of people go to the gym and they're on your phone and they're texting. That's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like be intentional. When you get into the gym, you're working out. Put that phone on flight mode and get into work. Like you have to work hard. And this is why it's important to keep log of your workout, because then and keep notes, because then the following week, like, oh, last week I didn't really push on that session. Like I need to actually really pick it up this time. The more intentional you are,
journaling isn't just for like the gym. It actually helps in like so many other areas, like 100%. Keeping a track on like say finances, and also like mindset. Like actually kind of keep an eye on like where your mindset's going and how you're actually progressing with it. But back to the basics. So you said obviously keeping an eye on the calorie intake and macros.
That's right.
And then back to the basics of the gym workouts of not necessarily avoiding the machines, but kind of focusing more on the dumbbells and the barbells and stuff like that.
I mean, for me, that's where I started, and that's where I got taught as well. And I teach a lot of my clients to learn how to work with free weights and work with bars, etc. Because if they master those basics of working with free weights and bars, etc., they're gonna master the machines easily. But if they master the machines and go to let's say dumbbells, etc., their sort of movements are not going to be right. So I always find it that way. But master the basics, and don't stress about supplementation, etc., too much. Get the motion of going, start seeing some results, and then that could be your 1% that you add to your workout. You know what I mean? Like everyone is like, oh, what protein should I drink? Well, just consume your whole proteins. Like that's always going to be the best protein.
Honestly, the only time I actually started taking protein, which was like literally last year. I started when I was like a lot younger, but then more so again this year. And the only reason why I started taking protein was because I had to eat like 6 times a day, and actually it increased all the calories across the board.
That's what I was going to say.
And then there's like, okay, I could do it through diet, like proper diet, like actual whole foods, like you just said. And then it's like, okay, I'm not quite hitting my targets. I'm struggling with consuming the food. Let's add on the protein then.
That's exactly what I was going to say. See, if you're in a surplus, or you don't even necessarily have to be in a surplus. If you're eating a lot and you wanted to add to your calories and you were struggling to eat 6-7 meals a day, that's when you can start adding in protein powder, etc. You know what I mean? That helps a lot because it's quite easy to drink, and like I try to intend to tell everyone to not try and consume liquid calories, but to consume whole food calories. And like even if you consume, let's say your protein powder, you can just add it to your oats, or just a small amount of oats. It could be like 30 grams of oats.
Yeah.
And you can add like 50 grams of protein to that and some berries. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Right? So...
And you also get the nutrients and like antioxidants there, which actually help with that as well.
Yeah.
But, all right, so what other things do you consider basics for people to actually achieve their fitness goals? Like, so obviously you've got the diet, macros, weight training, or correct weight training. Anything else you consider? Or what?
So if you got your food right,
Yep.
If your food is right, you're consuming the right calories.
Yep.
Your training is right.
Yep.
The intensity is right. You're following a program. You're progressively adding on every week or every second week.
Yep.
You're growing. Your strength is going up.
Overload.
The third thing, which I always say is probably number one, consistency over time.
Yeah.
Right. Consistency over time is always going to win. Like if you can be consistent over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this is where you can test yourself, right? If you've got actually good habits or not, just test yourself. Be like, okay, this week I'm going to train 5 days, or over this month I'm going to train 5 days every single week, and see where you fail. How long does it take you to fail, or do you even fail?
Yeah.
Are you able to go through the whole month training 5 days a week and actually follow your diet and your training program? And if you can do that, then you grow even the following week, add the 1%. Could it be? Or that 1% could be adding in, let's say, your steps or doing a little bit of cardio.
Just an extra rep.
100% extra rep. And then the following month could be, okay, well, maybe I'll add supplementation now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So making sure that you're hydrated, etc. Like these are all things that you can add. Recovery is extremely important too.
Yeah, recovery is extremely important. But do you find that, like, because I know like when I first started with the gym, like say 20 years ago now, I had a plan from the trainers at the gym, just a very, very basic plan. And as I started progressing, for me to get to that next level, I actually had to start getting different training methods and different techniques and different things like that. Do you find like having a proper training kind of strategy or method in place actually makes a big difference, or do you think I should have it?
This is the thing about training exercises and methods. There's no one method that works for everyone.
Yeah.
It's what works for that person. And for example, like when I was going through my prep and I was working with a leading trainer, like when I say leading, he took people to Olympia, etc.
Yeah.
Like he was really good. And me and him were speaking about it, and the answer is, the best exercise for you is the one that you think it connects with you when you're exercising. And actually, for example, I might give you wide lat pull down, but I connect with it really well, and I feel the muscle and everything, and every rep I feel. But when I give it to you, you're completely, let's say, not necessarily useless at it, but you just don't feel it as much as a row or high row. Right? So the exercise that work for you, you add in the right reps to it, the right intensity to it, and that's going to be the right program for you.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you know, like, just have the basics of like how many reps you should be doing, how many sets you should be doing, and that comes down to your goal again.
And that's so much we're going to be incorporating within our own program ourselves, isn't it? Because so people actually get that kind of slightly more personal kind of program set for themselves, so they can actually
100%.
get the results they're actually looking for. Because, like I said, when I actually started training with my friends who are actually PTs and actual bodybuilders, that's where I actually started seeing a bit more as well, because I put myself under a bit more strain at the gym, actually push myself harder.
Yeah.
Not necessarily I push myself harder. They pushed me as well, because they would say, like, say for the leg press, if the weight's on there, you got to do it. I'm like, oh crap. I'm doing like 400 kilo leg presses. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, that was just stupid, because that's where you get injury.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you consider is essential for someone who's just starting out and who wants to see a bit more kind of progress and growth within themselves at the gym?
Just try and work with someone that's already walked the path.
Yeah.
Right. So someone that's already done it. Learn from them as much as you can. If you can have a good accountability partner train with you, that helps a lot as well.
Training with someone helps
100%.
And someone who's actually committed to training as well.
Yeah, so someone that actually, like, for example, when me and you train, we don't sit there and talk shit. Like we're just there to get business done. Like we work. Like people text me sometimes, and I'm about to get to the gym, like working.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but you were at the gym. Yeah, that's work. I'm working. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
working on me.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, working on me, which is the most important job you'll ever have.
Oh, 100%.
So, like, this is what confuses me sometimes, and I've had this problem before, but not much. But people will go out and work at a job extremely hard for someone's dreams, and then they'll never work on themselves. So why? Like, I don't get it. Do you not? Are you not important? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you are the most important person that ever existed to yourself in some certain extent. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we spoke about this in one of the other episodes just the other day, about being selfish. And I was speaking this to a friend as well.
yeah.
You have to be selfish with you and your time. Like, if you want a certain result in your life, gym, financial, mindset, whatever it could be, no matter what it is, like even family and friends related, it's personal to you. But you got to be selfish with what you want to achieve, and you actually have to go after what you want to achieve. You've put in the time and the effort outside of what you already are doing, because you might be working for somebody else's dream or somebody else's job, and it gives you some financial stability and income. But for me, I didn't ever want to be stuck at a 9 to 5. That's why I'm out of it now. So I would finish work, we're doing 10-hour days, get home, I would hit the gym for myself, because I've gone to the gym as part of my lifestyle now. And then I would get into the work I needed to do for my own financial well-being to actually get myself to that next level. So I didn't have to rely on anyone, and just for me, not for someone else.
100%.
But so like I said, you got to kind of focus on actually doing the work for yourself, and actually work on this for yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I couldn't agree more. Like doing the work for yourself is going to better everything in your life. You know what I mean? Like, if there's nothing bad that's going to come from working on your own health, your fitness, and you know what I mean? And that comes in putting in the right mindset into it. You know what I mean? Like, and when you put those things together, like, everything else just flourishes. Like, a lot of people, you know, this is what someone told me back in the day before I started my own business, etc. When I was a bit lost and I didn't know what to do, and like I didn't know what path to go on. He's like, go train. Just go and train. And he's like, I was like, what the fuck? No, like, what do you mean? He's like,
you never regret a good workout.
You know what I mean? Like, and I started training, and my mindset started changing, and like the way I view things started changing, and I started picking who I hung out with, and everything around my life started changing because I just prioritized gym for a little small period of my life, you know? And then everything just started changing, like, you know, literally. And I think like no matter what you're going through, like, you could be going through a breakup, you could be going through a business that's crumbling down, you could be going through depression, you could be going through all these like things that might be holding you down. But those things are the fuel to get you to the next level. Just get into the gym, burn some calories, like gain some weight, like whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, hustle.
I don't know if you ever felt this. So, what was it, going back now? 12 years ago, I was working in dental surgery up somewhere away from where we are right now. And my boss, one of the guys we worked with, and my boss said, oh, let's do this 100K trail walk for charity. I'm like, all right, cool. So we started actually training during the walks on the weekends for the training. And I found that when I did those walks, like just for the training, it was like 30 Ks at a time, it allowed me so much clarity in my thought. Like, I'm like, holy crap, this is like next level. Like, you just get in this like mindset and mind frame where you're walking to a destination. You don't even think about the destination itself, but your mind just starts ticking over, and you just start thinking of strategies of whatever else you might be working on. One of the things I was focused on at the time was the stock market, and actually strategies for investing in the stock market. And my mind was just racing with ideas. It was crazy.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because negative thoughts can't exist inside of a positive mind. And when you're training, and when you're training, you got endorphins being released into your body. So you're in a positive high state. So this is why my most creative ideas literally come like after me training or being in the sauna or in those moments, like when my body's feeling at its best, my mind takes at its best as well. So like there's no way like you be training like at a really good session and he's sitting there going, oh, I fucking hate my life. It's just
it doesn't happen.
You're gonna be fucking like, it doesn't happen like that, man. Like, so
or you use that hatred just to fuel that workout.
100%.
The best time for a workout is after a breakup.
That's why 100%. Like, your best body is built after a breakup. Like, but that's just a normal example. You know what I mean? Like, it's being able to utilize how would you say it? Like not bad things coming into your life, but like obstacles to your advantage.
Yeah.
Like just knowing what the best move is, and best move always will be moving forward.
Oh,
yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
But
yeah, 100%. I mean, to quickly recap over it, for anyone starting out training or not knowing the basics or just not achieving goals, go back to the absolute basics, and that would be knowing what your calorie count is for your intake every day. Have a weekly religious schedule where you actually check in with yourself. 3 photos, front, back, side. Upload them into one folder. Do measurements. Take your weight. Don't rely on the weight, but compare your photos as you go on, as the weeks go on. And then in your gym, intensity training. Just go focused. Right now, I'm training. I'm going to give myself 60 minutes, no distractions. No one's going to talk to me. I'm not going to answer any messages, and I'm going to try my best to fail every single set. Don't sit there and rest for 2 minutes. Push it hard. Really train. Really be intensive, right? And then the third thing, be consistent. Okay, figure out where you are and consistent, and who's distracting you, and cut that out as soon as you can. Okay, test yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself. Oh, I'm gonna train for 20 weeks nonstop, and then go for 3 weeks and go, fuck this. Right? Like you just go. I'm gonna train for 4 weeks, and I'm gonna turn up 5 days a week. And then if you fail, restart that 4 weeks straight away. Do not dwell on it. Do not cry over it. Don't bullshit yourself. Start straight away.
Accept that it happened.
100%.
And just move on to the next.
And this is where your habit will be built for consistency. And when you have consistency, you're going to have results.
And you have discipline. Right? And then there's so many like minor parts. It all ties in together. And it's amazing how like how many different parts tie into each other. And how much they actually feed into other parts as well. Like 100%. Having the goals, having like you build the resilience.
100%.
Discipline, momentum, intensity, the works. But I think that's really, really helpful for anyone who's just starting out or finding that they're struggling with progressing in the gym. In particular, that if they just go back to the basics and understand where they're struggling and where they kind of need to improve or what they need to kind of adjust, they will actually start finding those results and getting more intense and more focused and actually more how to put it, intentional, like you said, intentional with what they're actually doing. That's where they start seeing those results.
100%.
But so hope that's been informative for you guys. Keep up to date with our latest podcast. We will be touching on a lot more topics on fitness, health, mindset, and also finances. So episode number 3 of the 3 Pillars podcast with myself, David, Waliid. I'll drop the socials in the comments section below or somewhere on here. We'll be on the Instagram is the Kaizen Method Co. Is it Kaizen Method Co?
Yep.
Yeah, Kaizen Method Co. I just had to double check that one. On Instagram, join us there because we are going to be launching soon with a new program, so to speak. Which will be incorporating every one of these 3 pillars into your life and how you can actually succeed in life
100%.
In every area. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys again on the next one.
Thank you guys. Peace out.
Cheers.